Hi, Kat.
Hi, Gary.
Lovely to see you. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone?
Sure. My name is Kat. I am a part-time music teacher from Southampton, and I released my first single in March 2025, and have just released my second single last week,
Which is called,
Chasing My Breakthrough.
and we're going to be digging into that in a few minutes. So that's exciting. And what sort of music do you make then? What's your sort of genre or genres?
Well, I'm drawn to electro pop. I love the sounds of electro pop. I've always admired artists such as Robin. She's probably my favorite electro pop artist.
Mhm.
I also like 90s dance. I kind of grew up in that era, so I love a good 90s dance track, and I find that influences me with a lot of my music as well.
Mhm. What sort of artists from the 90s then? Because I love some sort of house bangers from the 90s.
Oh, my absolute favorite track is Set You Free Entrance. 100%. That is such a tune. Absolutely. And it's just the euphoric feeling it gives you. It's just like, I think I love songs that kind of make you feel an emotion,
Mhm.
a really strong emotion, and not just about the words or, just the melody, like the feeling that it gives you. And it's like with writing songs as well.
Mhm. Excellent. And can you give us a bit of background into what drew you into making music in the first place, or even enjoying music?
Um, yeah, sure. So when I was two, since going back a while, when I was two, I remember, I don't know how I remember it when I was two, but I remember that I did like a Christmas show. And a few years ago, I went to see my dad, and he showed me this picture of when I was at this Christmas show. And there were five of us in a row holding sleigh bells because we were doing a really lovely version of Jingle Bells. And all of the other four kids looked so bored, as if it's like, seriously, why have they given me these sleigh bells? And I looked at my face, and I was like having the time of my life. Just like loving this. I mean, it was a sleigh bell, but it was clear looking at that picture. It's like, okay, I've enjoyed music for a long time. And I think I've mentioned to you before, Gary, that one of my first influences, I think, was Jean-Michel Jarre.
Mhm.
So watching the 1990 La Défense concert that he did, I was 7 at the time, and I just remember sitting there being utterly transfixed. And I think I watched the VHS about 300 times. Just the sounds, the emotions, the synths, the atmosphere, just everything about it. And I think I didn't realize it at the time, but that was to influence the sound that I really was found myself drawn to in the future.
Mhm. Yeah, I've said to you in the past that Jean-Michel Jarre was a big influence on me as well. But
Mm.
that was whenever he was starting to release stuff like that, sort of
Mm.
early mid 70s, because I'm that old. So, um, and tell me about how being neurodivergent has shaped your approach to music.
Um, I think for me, I find it quite difficult to concentrate on the lyrics and the music straight away. So when I listen to music, I focus on the actual instrumentation first, um, and then I would have to listen again, and then focus on the lyrics.
Mhm.
I think for me, being neurodivergent, I have a very active brain, so ideas just ping into my brain. And I'm quite lucky because when I write songs, I have so many ideas. So I never have a problem with the number of songs that I write, because I find that I can write absolutely loads. Um, which is good, but then obviously I have to make sure that I am able to organize these ideas and not get too bogged down with all the lists of notes that I have.
And
Um,
how do you process that? Have you a means of filtering down and creating sort of checklists to sort of move the process along to
Yeah.
logical.
So I have I have a lot of lists, but I have a list. So I'm releasing an album at the end of July, and I've got a list of themes and types of songs that I want to release in the album. And if I get an idea and it doesn't fit with that, I'll be like, right, okay, I'll leave that. So it's basically just filtering in the ideas that I want to develop straight away, and the songs that maybe can be left later on.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I think being neurodivergent, if there is a song idea that doesn't really grab my attention, I will just leave it. I have to be fully invested and, you know, happy and enthusiastic. Otherwise, I'll just get bored and not want to do it.
Mm-hmm. And with your teaching background, does how you approach teaching and the planning and so on, does that have any impact on how you approach this process?
Yeah, I think with the same kind of way, actually. So in teaching is amazing. There is a lot of paperwork, and paperwork isn't always my best friend. So I think it's just, again, planning. I use a lot of apps on my phone to keep me organized. And it's like, right, this is what I need to do this week. This is what I need to do today. And I have to actually tick them off on my app. And then I know that I'm getting things done. I'm not too overwhelmed. And I think it's the same thing with creating music, kind of making sure that I'm like, right, I've got 200 ideas. I can't have 200 ideas. I just need to prioritize them and save the others for another time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's like with teaching as well. You prioritize what you need to do straight away, and then you organize the others and come back to them when the things need to be done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good to have the sort of the foresight to know when to put something to bed or put it aside or whatever, whenever it's not working or it doesn't fit or whatever. But sometimes you can sort of square peg in a round hole.
Mm-hmm.
You just want it to work, you know, whenever it's maybe not going to. And how do you find that your creative process differs from how others might work? Are you aware of differences whenever you maybe collaborate with people? You see a difference of approach?
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, when I'm writing with myself, I find that my output in songs is actually quite high.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to get this thing where I'll wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning with like 2 practically fully formed songs in my head. So I'm like, right, like try not to disturb the husband and running downstairs to the piano and basically getting these ideas. And my friend who I'm co-writing at the moment with in the States, she's like, oh, Kat, you're so lucky, just basically waking up with these ideas. And I'm like, yes, but I also need sleep. So it is good, but also it's quite tricky. And yeah, I think when I'm co-writing as well, when we're trying to think of ideas, I have like a list. As being neurodivergent, I'm good at writing lists, and I think they find it quite difficult to be like to sift through it. It's like, oh my goodness, you've got a lot of ideas. So again, it's just trying to listen to the other person, because sometimes I have very, I have thoughts about what I want to do. It's like, oh, I feel passionate about that. But it's like, no, you need to listen to what they're interested in, and then that kind of narrows down, the subject that you might want to write about.
Mm-hmm. And are there any rituals or tools or habits, pardon me, that help you manage focus, or managing your energy levels or overwhelmed during the creative process?
Yeah, so I've developed this little habit. So I've got 2 children, and when I take them to school, it takes about 15 minutes to walk back. So in that 15 minutes, I'll get my phone and my headphones, and I will write some songs, or I will record some ideas. And it's not very long, but because it's 15 minutes, my brain is like, right, you've got 15 minutes, make these 15 minutes count. And it's good because otherwise it's kind of time where, you know, I might not be making the most of it. I can utilize the time, whereas I could just be walking back, not really doing much, but I can actually direct my brain to think of something and make the most of that time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
she sounded a lot more disciplined than me.
I doubt it. It's really difficult, but I think also when it's something that I'm really into, I get incredibly hyper focused. So I'm like, yeah, actually, I like being outside and I like the walk. So it's a great time to be inspired and write songs.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the other side of the coin, there are times when if I get really into a project, I'm like, right, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to do anything until I finish this song. And that's when it gets tricky. And that's when you said is the potential for burnout.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said to you before, I try and give myself slots of an hour and I time myself. And then after that, I'll have a drink. Otherwise I will forget to drink. Have a snack, have a 5-minute break and come back. Because I find that I'm so much more creative and have more output creatively if I give myself that space.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it works quite well for me, actually. It's changed the way that I work, for sure, knowing that I have a set amount of time before a break. So I've got to make the use of that 60 minutes before I have that break.
And do you ever suffer from self-doubt, you know, sort of imposter syndrome?
Oh, yeah, all the time. I think I'm very much a words of affirmation person. So, for example, as a teacher, especially if it's Christmas or at the end of the term or just in the middle of the year, you know, you get like a card and a child has written a really sweet message in it. And I'm like, that means more to me than anything else. So I guess I kind of worry about what people think, not so much what they say, but what they would write about me, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And having ADHD, I suffer a lot with RSD. So that kind of rejection, fear of rejection, will they hate my songs? Will they like my songs? What if they hate them? Oh, am I embarrassing myself? And it feels like a physical ache. So I feel it really deeply. So that's something I had that a few days ago. I was like, oh my goodness, I haven't got as many streams as I wanted. And then I'm like, whoa, that doesn't matter. It doesn't actually matter. And then I just kind of took myself away, had a drink, chilled out a little bit. But yeah, it is hard. Imposter syndrome, fear of rejection is really difficult, and it's more like because it's actual physical sensation for me anyway.
Mm-hmm. And does music help you regulate or express emotions in ways other outlets don't? I suspect that would be the case.
Oh, absolutely. I think if I'm sad, if I'm happy, if I'm stressed, if I'm overwhelmed, my immediate go-to would be go into my music room, write something. My husband and my kids know that if I come home and I've had a bit of a day of it, I will go and sit in my music room and I will write for 20 minutes and then put down my emotions in a song, get some ideas, and then I will feel like a completely different person. I've written down all my thoughts and worries into song form, all my emotions. It's given me a chance to process. I think I process things quite well, writing them in a song.
Mm-hmm.
And also, there's nothing worse than keeping all your emotions bottled up. Whereas I think writing songs and writing music allows you to kind of get them on the paper. And that definitely helps me.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So let's move on to the track that we're featuring. Do you want to tell us the name of the track?
Sure. It's called Chasing My Breakthrough.
And it was released last week.
Yes, last Friday. Yeah.
So on all the streaming platforms.
Yes. Yep. All streaming platforms. Yeah.
And we'll include a link and everything. And have you sorted Bandcamp yet?
Not for that track. That's on my long to-do list. My never-ending to-do list. I done it for my first single, but that's my job at the weekend to sort it for my latest release, which I will do.
Excellent. And can you give us the backstory about the song?
Sure. I write a lot of songs when I'm angry. So this song came at a time of frustration. So I was frustrated creatively, had a lot of rejections musically, and regarding other things going on, going through a bit of a tricky time mentally at that point as well. So the whole idea of a breakthrough, I was looking for a bit of positivity, a breakthrough, something good to come out of things, because it just seemed a bit of a hard time at that point. Yeah, and I wrote the first version of this song as an acoustic piano ballad, and I performed it for an online song share, and the feedback was, "Oh, Kat, it's a lovely song for a musical." And I love musicals, right? I love them, but that was not the intention. So I was like, oh, okay. So, you know, I went back, and me and my kind of hyper focus wanting to get this right, I worked for several hours, and I was like, right, this isn't a musical song. I think this needs to be an electro pop dance track. So I took the lyrics that I originally had and kind of chopped and changed them a little bit. Then I added this kind of 80s synth sweeping sound and kind of built it from there. Got the drums, and then got my friend Will to put in a driving guitar riff, and it all kind of took off from there. And it's funny because I then told the same community about the new song, and when it was released last week, I told them that it had been released, and they're like, "Oh, it's so much better now."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's good to hear. And so just about actually the mechanics of getting the song together, did you start with a loop, a lyric, a hook? How did it all come together?
It started with melody and the lyrics, because I know everyone's different, but I write the melody and the lyrics together.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been able to write just a melody on its own or just a lyric on its own. It always comes together for me anyway. And then once I had that in place, I kind of did like a skeleton of the synth at the beginning, and then the drum pattern. And then in kind of small bite-sized chunks, I did a little bit more of the backing, then a little bit more, then a little bit more. Then I recorded the vocal, and then took it to see my friend at his studio, and he's just got this amazing kind of like idea of what a song needs.
Mm-hmm.
What else it needs. He's like, oh yeah, you need a fill there, or you need this there, or you need another synth there, and it kind of grew from there, really.
Can I be boring and ask what DAW he uses and what DAW you use? Are you Logic or Ableton or?
Logic. I'm definitely not an expert. I'm learning as I go along. I can produce a song. I have a long way to go at mixing and mastering, but I'm getting there.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely not a release standard, but I'm definitely, when I've got a moment, I kind of brush up on the skills, and I'm getting better. Definitely.
And your friend, what DAW does your friend use?
He uses Logic as well.
It's excellent. That's handy. And is there any particular sound or production technique or detail in this track that you want to flag?
I think so. Not so much the production technique, but I love writing bridges in songs, and the bridge is quite simple. The time's a ticking bomb. And then when we recorded this in the studio, we kind of laid it up quite gradually. But yeah, there was that, and then I mean, I'm not as technical as you with all the production stuff, but yeah, it was yeah, just I think just using the synths, and we experimented a bit with the different synth sounds. Yeah.
Brilliant. And in what ways does your neurodivergence show up in the track, either in themes or how it was made?
So I think, yeah, so in that track, it was only a month. I wrote the track a month after I was officially diagnosed with ADHD. And at that point, I hadn't realized why some things were so difficult and why I was struggling in some areas as much as I was. Because I have a diagnosis of OCD, and I think I was getting confused between the two because there are similarities, but there are huge differences as well. And then as soon as I was diagnosed, it was kind of like a light bulb moment, and it was like, oh, great. But the track itself is kind of detailing the frustration. So the frustration of musical rejection, the frustration of, you know, having this kind of, at the time, undiagnosed ADHD and things just being really difficult, and having the desire to succeed and do things, but just finding it very difficult to do so because of like mental burnout and, you know, various other things. So so the ADHD manifested in the song mostly because of frustration, I think.
And what led you to get diagnosed? Was there a particular trigger, or was it like an ongoing process that just needed to be resolved?
It's interesting because I'm sure you've got a view about this, but there are so many of these people online that blog about ADHD, and I think some people always need to go and get a proper diagnosis. But I think because the symptoms that I was having, I thought were all just OCD. And then I saw something on the internet, and I was like, hold on, they've got ADHD and I do that. And then it was just kind of like, okay, hold on, I do that as well, and I do that as well. And then I kind of thought about it. I was like, that explains so many moments in my life where, you know, mood wise or burnout wise, or things like, I remember when I was younger, I used to stammer a lot, and I used to go to the doctor, and the doctor said, oh, there's no reason why you should stammer. And now I think it's because my brain was trying to think faster than my mouth. And it would always be better when I was more confident, but when I was anxious, it would get worse. So I think it's, for me anyway, having more people talk about ADHD and it being in the forefront of people's minds now helped me realize that that's what it was. So I went to get diagnosed, and I was like, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense. And then I was able to distinguish and separate the two different things. So for me, it's changed everything. It's made me realize, you know, what is ADHD, what is the OCD side, and yeah, it just kind of clarified really what was going on. I feel like I know myself a bit better now.
Interesting. So now you've released it. How do you feel about the track? Can you sort of put it to bed and move on to the next thing, or
yeah, I think so.
About it, or?
Yeah, well, I'm pleased it's out. because it's taken me 17 years to actually release music for various different reasons, health and self-doubt, and then having families, and then having vocal problems and all sorts of things. So I was happy that not only have I released one track, I've released two. So I'm very proud of myself for that. Yeah, I think I've listened to it so many times. I do get quite critical of my stuff, so I've listened to it so many times, and there's things that I think, oh, my voice was a bit out of tune or a bit pitchy, but then I'm like, well, no one else has noticed it apart from me, so it's probably fine. And it's like, actually, sometimes the slight kind of, to have the slight imperfections in songs are partly what make them good.
I agree. Yeah, sometimes I take a rough take of something, an instrument or vocal take or whatever, and with the mind of going back and polishing it, and the subsequent takes are often never as good. They're not as authentic or something. They're just a bit too rehearsed or whatever, and I end up going with the originals. So I don't stress about it these days. And how do you navigate the emotional roller coaster of releasing music as a neurodivergent artist?
With difficulty. Oh, I'm being honest. Yeah, I think it's funny, Gary, because the first time I released, so when I released Begging You to Go, it was the first single, and I think the hype was bigger for the first single, both within myself and like people that I knew, because it was the first one, and my friends knew how much I'd wanted to release something. So there's that kind of that hype, which you don't kind of get, I guess, with the second single. So I found that really difficult to navigate emotionally. Yeah, I found that really difficult. And things like checking the numbers of streams. Now, I don't care about the number of streams, although my mind kind of tells me that it's important. It's hard because, again, you don't want to be rejected, you want to be accepted and people like your music, but actually there are so many contributory factors as to how many people stream your music, that actually, Spotify streams, for example, is not the be all and end all. So I've told some of my children in my school about my second release, and I've realized that I get more streams on YouTube, because the children ask their parents if they can look at it, and their parents help them look at it on YouTube. I'm like, actually, do you know what? That's cool. So it is being listened to, just maybe not in the way that I initially thought. And I think a lot of people concentrate on Spotify streams, but I'm like, actually, I think I feel a lot happier knowing that people have messaged me and said, oh, hey, Kat, that track you released about OCD, or that track you released about chasing your breakthrough, I really felt that, and I really resonated. It really resonated with me. I think I have to keep on reminding myself that. When I get that moment where I'm feeling like, oh my goodness, not many people like my music, which isn't true, but when you kind of judge it by streaming figures, even though it's only been a week, I can get quite wound up. But it's, again, like I said before, just taking a break out of it, looking at the nice comments that I've had, reading those, because I've had some lovely comments, like really, really nice, from not just friends, but complete strangers, like obviously from yourself, and like other sides of the world that have been like, yeah, this song's really helped me through this, and this song's going to help me push forward and, do my best to do what I can, and, not let any diagnosis kind of stop me from doing what I want to do or achieve. So I think remembering those things helps me kind of calm myself down and navigate the emotions by realizing that it's people impact on people rather than streams. As long as I remember that, I'm good.
Yeah, and it's a long game as well. So I think one can fixate over having a big splash, and then if that
Mm.
doesn't happen, you think, oh, but it's not the end of the world. You know, it's something that you can keep on promoting and
Mhm.
part of the rest of your work as well.
Yeah.
Um, so what's next then? What are you working on next?
So I have a single coming out on Friday, the 9th of May, called Alone with My Mind. And it's all kind of a bit of a different feel. It's still kind of electro-y, poppy, synthy, but it's a lot darker at the beginning, a lot slower. It's basically about overthinking at night time. For me, I often overthink more at night. So if I wake up and can't sleep because there's nothing else going on, I have a tendency to overthink. So the song's about overthinking and how, that kind of has that snowball effect and gets worse and worse. Yeah, and in the chorus, it's got a little bit of an Afrobeat kind of feel to it, because I love music from different cultures and different countries. So, it's nice to kind of mix that in as well.
Excellent. And are there any sounds or tools or ideas you're excited to explore next?
Well, I'm looking forward to getting a Splice membership. Haven't got one of those yet. So I'm very excited about that. I can't, you might know the name of this. There's this synth, and it's got like these like really low down keys, and you can just like use your finger to kind of like slide up and down the notes. I can't remember what it's called, but I really want one.
Really, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm saving up for one, because because I heard it and I was like, oh, I really want one of those.
Yeah, I think I know the one that you're talking about. Yeah. So that's the next toy in your
Next toy. A new mic would be good. And yeah, so like I said before, working on a collab, which is nice. And then the album released hopefully end of July, probably at this rate, beginning of September.
Mhm.
So that'll be the first album, which I know a lot of people are going against releasing albums, but I'm very set on it, because it's going to document my journey from kind of OCD diagnosis to anxiety about it, to feeling a bit lost, to CBT, to finding kind of like a brighter outlook, to ways that I kind of help to manage, mental health and all that kind of stuff, to some tracks that are kind of a bit more euphoric, kind of that recovery and journey, if that makes sense. So I'm really excited about that.
Excellent. Brilliant. Okay, last couple of questions then. So what's a song you'd love to remix?
I thought so long and hard about this one. It's funny, because a lot of the songs I wanted to do, it turns out people already done them. So I was like, oh, I can't possibly do something that anyone else has done. So I like a song called A Cappella by Khalees.
Mhm.
And it's a song that, I don't know why this happens, but whenever I get in the car, it just starts automatically playing. I don't know why. But I like it because the production is very limited, because it's a cappella. Obviously, a cappella means unaccompanied. So it's very sparse. But I just had this idea of creating this kind of electro pop version where you kind of emphasize the word a cappella, and it all goes kind of a cappella, and then you just bring this kind of symphonic electro pop crazy sound in. So yeah, I've just got it all worked out in my head. I'm gonna have to do it now, because it would be amazing.
I like the sound of that. And dream collaboration, and Dead or Alive, who would it be?
Oh, these questions aren't easy, are they? Yeah, I thought long and hard about this one. I think it would have to be the lady who kind of got me into electro pop, and that would be Robin.
Mhm.
It's her song With Every Heartbeat. Just like, it's one of my favorite tracks. Just the way that she sings it, the production, what it's about, and the way that she's taken something, like heartbreak, that can be quite cliched and very common, and she's taken it and approached it in a completely different way, and I love that.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's such a good tune as well, so I think it would have to be her.
Brilliant. Well, look, thanks a million. We'll listen to your track now, but yeah, thanks for joining us and answering all those questions.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Dreaming a dream for 20 odd seasons. Now, yearning to share my voice through my song. Expression just sprawls so easily, gliding like a skate on the ice. But can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Why is it so hard? Why, oh no? Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Why is it so hard? I'm chasing my breakthrough. 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 I just need a breakthrough before it's too late. I'm hunting my breakthrough to seal my fate. I'm chasing my breakthrough. I'm striving for breakthrough. I'm seeking a breakthrough. Time's a ticking, ticking bomb. My mind is a place with a tune and a rhyme. My mind is a place with thoughts that aren't mine. Tinkle the ivories at 3 a.m. Then the door slams. Then I go again. But can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Why is it so hard? Why, oh no? Can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Why is it so hard? I'm chasing my breakthrough. 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 I just need a breakthrough before it's too late. I'm hunting my breakthrough to seal my fate. I'm chasing my breakthrough. I'm striving for breakthrough. I'm seeking a breakthrough. Time's a ticking, ticking bomb. 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 I'm chasing my breakthrough. I'm chasing my